So what are the best stretches to do before you row? Let's talk about it. What's up guys, Austin back with another rowing video, and today we're talking all about pre-workout stretching. Now, when it comes to rowing, which works a lot of muscle groups, with any exercise, it's important to really think about the muscle groups that are worked, and that way you know which muscle groups to stretch out beforehand. So at the start of the rowing stroke, we're going from a legs compressed position to a legs extended position. And so going from that to here, that is working primarily our quadriceps muscles, so the tops of our thighs. And once we go from this position and swing back, going from hip flexion to hip extension, that's primarily working our hamstrings muscles. And then as we go from arms extended to arms flexed, as we bring in the handle, that's working our forearms, that's working our biceps, and our scapula is retracting as well, so our back muscles. And as we come back out, it's the opposite. So those arms are extending, the hips come forward, and then so that's working the hip flexor muscles, and then the legs compress. And as we come up to take the stroke, we're also getting a bit of toe flexion as well. So that means the calves are working too. So with all of those different muscle groups all sort of working together, it's important that we break each one down and find a good stretch that's going to stretch out all of these so that we are best prepared for our rowing workout. Now, if you're looking to stretch before intense exercise, the best form of stretching is not the traditional static stretching where you hold a stretch for, a certain number of seconds. That's best served for after a workout. Before a workout, it's important to get ourselves dynamically warmed up, which means we want to keep our body moving as we stretch out these key muscle groups. So, starting off with the legs, quadriceps stretch. What we do for this, all you do is kick your butt back. And you'll notice that as I kick and switch, my leg is going from this flexed position to extended. That's working the same motion that you would do while rowing, but again, this is a dynamic way to get those muscles working. So you do about 20 to 30 seconds of this. Be mindful of your knees while you do this. Try not to have your knee come forward. All right, we really want to keep the knees back, really stretching out those quadriceps. Then as we think about a hip flexion, hip extension type dynamic stretch, what we can do for that are leg swings. So I personally like to hold on to something while doing this, but if you've got good balance, you can do it without holding on to anything. What we do is we kick our leg forward straight and extend it back behind us. Kick it forward, extend it back. Kick it forward, extend it back, just like that. And as you kick, you'll feel the hamstring stretch up here, the hip flexor stretch as the leg goes back behind you. So I find about 12 to 15 kicks on one leg, and then 12 to 15 kicks on the other leg. This is seriously one of my favorite warm-up stretches. You should be doing this before any sort of leg-focused workout. And if you want to get a little bit more stretch in that booty region, you can take it to a glute stretch by taking your leg, turning it sideways, pulling it up, dropping, and switching. So you can notice that this dynamic form of stretching, you're just holding the stretch for a quick second before releasing. And you'll notice with dynamic stretching that your breathing starts to increase. You can really feel yourself start to warm up with your muscles. Now, as we move our way up the body, we can work on stretching out our arms that are responsible for arm flexion, arm extension. My favorite way to do this is by doing a forearm stretch. Extend your elbow out all the way, pull your fingers back, and then switch arms. Extend, pull back. Extend, pull back. This is stretching out your biceps as well as your wrist flexor, your gripping muscles. And because you're gripping the handle for every stroke that you take, this is an important stretch to do. So you alternate, just like the other stretches, 12 to 15 on each side or so. And then that gets your arms nice and warmed up. And now, as we talked about, as we finish the stroke with the scapular retraction and protraction, best way to warm that up, my favorite, chest huggers. Alternating one arm over the other and switching, letting the arms come out behind you, feeling the chest stretch in the front, and feeling your shoulder blades round forward as you bring your arms to the front. About 12 to 15 of these dynamic swings, and then you're pretty much good to go. Now, a lot of people don't think to stretch out their calves. I definitely recommend it's something to keep in mind, especially if you feel like you lack flexibility as you come up to take each rowing stroke. And I find the best way to stretch out the calves is to go onto the ground, plant your hands down, walk your feet behind you, get your head in between your biceps, and from here, bending one knee and straightening the other leg, driving the heel to the ground and switching. Just pressing the heel and switch. Just like that, about 12 to 15 on each side. And you might notice a big flexibility increase to your rowing stroke, your ability to come up and really compress for each rowing stroke that you take. And if you're looking for a bonus stretch, one thing that I always find is important for athletes to practice is to practice getting into a low squat position. So keeping your feet fairly close together, just like you would when you're sitting on a rowing machine, try to sit back, compress low, and see how low you can get your butt to the ground and come back up. Sit back, get low, and come back up. And you're going to feel your entire lower department working as you get low and come up. And if you find that you might only be able to get to about right here for now, just keep practicing, right? How do you ever expect to get better at something if you don't practice it? So I definitely recommend giving this a try too. It's going to help you practice and mimic that rowing stroke motion, at least for the leg drive portion of it, so that you can continue to get the most out of each rowing stroke that you do. So guys, remember, don't stick to static stretching for your warm-ups before a workout. That should be saved for post-workout, when, if you haven't seen that video, you can check out a link down in the description below with the recovery after a workout rowing stretches. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and I want to hear what you think down in the comments below. So I'll see you in the next video. Have an awesome day.